everybody and welcome back to another trip report. Today I'm here at Brisbane International Airport at the Virgin Australia part of the domestic terminal. I just got off that Alliance Fokker 70 and today I'm going to be flying Virgin Australia on a Boeing 737-800, surprise surprise, from here in Brisbane back home to Melbourne. I'm a little puffed since my plane arrived about an hour late, so thanks to the team at Alliance and Virgin, I think I'm going to make my connecting flight, which boarding was due to close right about now. So let's go over to the gate and board this flight. Now time to board.
Thank you very much. Enjoy.
Boarding pass scanned. Now let's board. My plane for today, I believe, is Victor Hotel, Yankee Victor Alpha. It's a 2011 built and delivered Boeing 737-800, delivered brand new to Virgin Blue as it was named then, and not long at all after, it was renamed to Virgin Australia. There's my ride. Hello.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Welcome on board the Virgin Australia 737-800, seat 7F. I do apologise for that very quick start. Now let's go through the seat features. Legroom on this aircraft is pretty good at 79 centimetres or 31 inches. It's better than Qantas and the same as Rex, since Rex basically used the old Virgin cabin, just updated the branding. So it's pretty good and above average for this route, but average sort of for, I don't know if Virgin's full service or not, but it's pretty average for a full service airline. Then just here you have safety instructions card for the 737. There's an individual seat back pocket here for your personal items, like my boarding pass. And then also with the safety card in the literature pocket, there's a menu which is backwards for some reason. And finally, there's also a sick bag. There's also a tray table, of course, which you can pull down like this, pull it back and push it in. There's a little cup slot there, of course. However, it's not foldable. This is, of course, equipped with the old Virgin Australia cabin, which I think about 90%, maybe even 95% of them still have this cabin. So there's no TV or anything up here. There's also, of course, a headrest. It's adjustable up, down, and the sides. So that's it for the seat features on the Virgin Australia 737-800. You've probably seen them before because I've made many videos on them, to say the least. Anyways, finally on board. Oh, and sorry, of course, there's a coat hook on the sides of each seat. Just a couple minutes after we got on board the plane, now time for pushback.
Welcome aboard. It's wonderful to have you with us. At Virgin Australia, your health and safety come first, so we appreciate you giving us your attention as we take you through some important information about this flight. Your seatbelt should now be done up low and tight across your hips. To fasten, push the ends together until they click, then pull the strap to tighten. To release, just lift the buckle. When the seatbelt sign is on, your belt should stay on too. This includes in the toilets, which have smoke detectors and alarms. You may continue using your handheld devices as long as you have switched them to flight mode. Anything larger than handheld will need to be put away. And if you lose your device in your seat, don't move the seat. Just sit tight and ask your crew for assistance.
think this aircraft, I might be mistaken, this seems to be equipped with the Boeing Sky interior. Actually, maybe I'm wrong, I'm not sure. Either way, there's some very nice purple mood lighting.
Cabin crew is busy for takeoff.
Cabin crew now coming around to do the bar on board and tea, coffee, water service. Here's my, part of my dinner for today. Didn't have any time to go to the lounge or anything in Brisbane, which I would have had access to thanks to my Velocity Gold. By the way, just quickly, a little bit of information. I didn't get to give you much of that. This is actually the last flight for today to Melbourne and the second to last Virgin Australia scheduled flight. Okay, so I opted for some honey soy chicken chips. I also got a ham and cheese toastie, but they said they will take about 20 minutes. Don't be fooled, by the way, this is not nearly full, it's just air. I also got a Boost Berry Getaway. I asked for some water as well, which is complimentary along with tea and coffee. And just here I have a cup of ice to go with the Boost juice. So I'll go through the menu in a little bit. This costed, I think, $5 and this costed $6, which is an okay price. It's a little on the expensive side, but it's not too bad. Friendly crew and yeah, pretty quick service. So overall, thumbs up from me for Virgin Australia. As I said, about 20 minutes later, I have my toastie. This is a not Monsieur, it's a croque style toastie, which is like a French sort of toastie, which has cheese and stuff on the top. I've tried it and it's pretty nice, especially for an airplane toastie. Pretty good for $12. It's been a very smooth and relaxing flight with the beautiful mood lighting. Okay, so they just made the pre-lining announcement. The cabin crew just came around to do another round of rubbish collection. Just been relaxing a little bit. Now let's have a quick look at the in-flight menu. I know it's after the meal service, but just so you guys can pause and read if you haven't seen it in the past. So there's savoury, there's some bigger stuff like the ham and cheese toasted sandwich that I got. Sweet, savoury. Here's lots of different bundles as well. There's also cocktails. And hot drinks, cold drinks, alcoholic beverages, or as they call them, grown-up drinks. And on the back here, middle seat lottery thing, and free in-flight entertainment, which I haven't been able to get working. I'm not sure if it's just me, but yeah, I'm not able to get it working on today's flight. But nonetheless, the prices are pretty solid, and there's a very nice selection of different food and drinks here on board Virgin Australia. Overall, I'm very happy with the buy on board service. I kind of do wish that they still at least served something little on top of that like they used to pre-COVID, but they got to make money somehow, and it's still a pretty good service. So by the way, overall the toasty was actually pretty tasty. It actually exceeded my expectations by a little bit, and the juice and believe it or not, the water was also pretty good as well. And of course the honey soy chicken chips were also good as usual. Anyways, should be landing early, I think in about half an hour. Been very uneventful, but a nice flight.
Large electronic devices, including laptops, need to be put away, but feel free to keep using handheld devices.
Alright, so my apologies, we're just about 5 minutes out of Melbourne now. I just had a thought. Remember a while ago in the past, normally I don't use VPNs when I'm on a plane, but I was using it earlier, I can't remember why. Yeah, the Virgin Entertainment System doesn't really like VPNs, and so when I turn my VPN off, it's now working, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, I've gone through it many times, so I'm not going to be able to go through it much, but what I can tell you is there's actually a pretty solid amount of movies. Now there's also movies for shorter flights, but you have about just enough time to watch a full movie on this flight if you like. There's also kids' movies, music, and I think there might be games somewhere, and you know, all that kind of stuff. Actually, maybe it's not games. I think I'd know by now, but apparently not. And here's my favourite part, the in-flight map. Just standing now through 7,000 feet. Looks like, as usual, we're going to be landing on Melbourne's runway 16. So yeah, that's a very brief look at the in-flight entertainment system. I would overall say that considering it's free on every fare, I think it's a pretty good system. Okay, so we are now on our approach into Melbourne Tullamarine International Airport. We're going to be landing on runway 27, I believe, which is the east runway. I think now's a good time to conclude today's trip report. My journey today started in Gladstone, but that conclusion is in a separate trip report. The transit experience at Brisbane, well, I mean, it would have been nice if the flight just wasn't delayed in the first place so I could have gone in the lounge and stuff. But in terms of how they handled the issue at Brisbane Airport, I thought it was very impressive. I believe it took exactly 4 minutes from stepping off the Alliance Airlines plane to boarding this flight. So I think that's pretty damn good. And they probably waited an extra few minutes for us. Not a big deal, but it's nice that they did that nonetheless. So I'm happy with how they handled it there. The crew on today's flight are pretty friendly. They're not overly friendly, and it's late in the night, but they're still definitely friendly enough. The buy on board service, what I got was actually pretty tasty, I would recommend, and overall it's a good buy on board service with solid prices. The seat itself, I mean, I've flown on Virgin many times, so I know what to expect when I fly them, and the seat is overall a pretty solid seat. It's not the best, but it's also not the worst, and with Qantas's ageing fleet of 737s having a little bit less legroom, if you're tall, This does make a bit of a difference, though Qantas does have some advantages in other areas. And last but not least, if it wasn't for us, we would have left on time, and either way, I believe we're landing a little bit early. And it's been a very nice and smooth flight. And since I got the entertainment working, I don't have any complaints other than the earlier delay. I wouldn't say there was anything particularly good about today's flight, but it was just a pretty overall solid flight with Virgin Australia. Anyways, enjoy the rest of the approach into dark, obviously, because it's night, Melbourne. That's pretty solid landing, a little bit of a bumpy final. Welcome to Melbourne. We're actually 20 minutes early.
Welcome to Melbourne. Virgin Australia is proud to acknowledge the traditional custodians, the land on which we walk, work, live and fly, and pay our respects to elders past, present and future. The time here in Melbourne is 11 o'clock and it's 10 degrees outside. We look forward to next time you choose to fly. Thank you and good night.
There's Sheila, who I flew on this morning. Due to a recent bird strike with Bonza, Sheila is extra busy today. Operated the inaugural Gladstone. Not sure if it operated anything else. But it's also now off to Sunshine Coast right now because about 5 hours late due to there being one aircraft out of service. Ooh, looks like we're lucky today. We have probably one of, if not the best gate in the terminal. Gate F11 in Terminal 4.
Tower crew disarm doors and cross tube.
See ya, bye-bye. Welcome back to Melbourne, Tullamarine. Well, I guess I should start off concluding today's trip report because I kind of want to get to bed. Well, first off, I'd like to thank you all for watching today's video. A like and subscription if you enjoyed would be very much appreciated and help me out a little bit if you don't mind. But of course, it's not necessary nor expected. Here's our beautiful plane. Also check out my website if you like at aviation763.com for information on upcoming flights and easier navigation to certain airlines trip reports. I also post live updates there sometimes, including on today's flight. In fact, I try my best to do live updates on every flight I go on, and also occasionally in my destination. Also, last but most certainly not least, thank you to all my incredible Patreons who helped to make these videos possible. Support is so much appreciated, and I couldn't do what I do without you. So I thank all of them very, very much. Their names will be on screen now. So once again, I'd like to thank you all for watching. I hope you have an incredible day, and I look forward to hopefully seeing you in my next trip report at 5 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time.
Welcome to Melbourne. Virgin Australia is proud to